Let's learn together today at Live on Purpose TV how to talk to kids so they listen. Sometimes we make distinctions between people and kids. Okay, can I just go on record saying kids are people too? And they operate on some of the same principles that we do. All of the same principles, actually. Kids are people too. Now, they have a different level of experience and understanding and knowledge, and so we'll acknowledge that right up front. Coming from that perspective is going to really assist you as a parent, especially, or a teacher, or someone who has influence with kids, to make sure that you're in the right place. I also want to refer back to a video that we did earlier about the influence quadrant. You can link to that right up here. And if you click on that, it'll just cue it up so that you can watch it next. Where we went over the importance of your focus. Very quickly, these three areas of focus that we talked about in the video are that you're focused on either yourself or other people, and it's about you or it's about other people. So the four quadrants are, am I focused on how I feel about myself? That's red. Am I focused on how other people feel about me? That's orange. Am I focused on how I feel about other people? That's purple. Or is my focus in this green quadrant that we called the influence quadrant, where my focus is on how other people feel about themselves? And it's not about me. And how I feel is only secondary. This is an important review because when we're talking to our kids, our focus is going to impact how they respond to us. And if we want to have the best influence, like we talked about in that video, we've got to get our focus off of ourselves. Okay? And for parents, it's very common to go purple, to be thinking about how do I feel about my kid and their choices and decisions. Okay? That puts you at an uneven position. It's like I'm here and my kid's here. And they're going to feel criticized or looked down on in some way. So we want to get into that green quadrant. Now, I won't spend any more time on that in this video, but go review the other one. Okay. Now, I've drawn on the board here a mountain. This is a specific mountain. It's Mount Timpanogos here in Utah. It's right outside my office. And I like to climb this mountain every year. When you're climbing the mountain, as you ascend up this slope of the mountain, I'll just draw a couple of little hikers here. Going up the mountain, you get to a point where you can see past all of the trees and you get a pretty good view. It's awesome. I remember when my 11-year-old son was going up the mountain with me for the first time, and we got up a little bit and had a pretty good view, and I said, hey, do you think the view could get any better than this? And he looks around and his eyes are filled with wonder and he says, no, Dad, I don't think so. This is pretty awesome. Now, what did I know? Because I'm older and I've been up the mountain before. I know that there's more to come, right? He didn't yet because he hasn't been that far up the mountain yet. So as we hiked a little farther, you'll notice what happens as we get up to this point. Okay, now we've got an even better view. See that? We can see so much more, and the vistas begin to open up, and the distances that you're able to see, it's fantastic, incredible. We're not done yet, are we? Because by the time we get to the top, up here, you can see all of this, and now all of this opens up too. So what does this have to do with talking to your kids? Here's what I'm thinking. Your kids are a little farther down the mountain than you are. Now notice, I am not saying that you are smarter or more righteous or more brilliant. I don't know if you are. In fact, I kind of hope that the next generation has a little step up on us, don't you? So I'm not saying that you're smarter. What I am saying is that you've been hiking longer. And because of that, your view is different and it includes more than what they're seeing. Now, we're not going to use this to beat our kids over the head and say, you have to listen to me because I know best. That is old school, dysfunctional parenting. Let's not go there. Honor them. Honor them for the view and the position that they already have. Because as legitimate human beings, as people on this planet, they have a perspective. And their perspective is good. In fact, it's the best one they've ever had. Now, it's going to improve as they keep hiking. You and I know that. They don't yet. But please honor their position. Know that they see things well from where they are. Okay? And there will be times when, as a parent, if you're up here farther, I'm not saying you're over the hill. We can talk about that later if you want. You're still climbing too, aren't you? Don't you keep learning things? But you're up here on the mountain. And you might find yourself sometimes hollering down to your child, hey, don't do that. Don't go that way. And meanwhile, they're down there like, I'm trying to hike here. I can see fine. And they can, from their perspective. They don't see what you see from your perspective, but you don't have the control either. So in our communications, what if we could take that position? I honor your position. I see that you see things well and better than you ever have. That is so cool. And then we are in a position where we can have some influence if we're really in that green quadrant to say, you know what, I've got some perspectives on that. In fact, one of the things that I do, especially with teenagers, sometimes I'll ask them, or I'll present it this way. You know, I've got some ideas about that. If you ever want to hear them, let me know. Drives them nuts. Because they're like, well, you're going to tell me anyway. No, I don't want to cram anything down your throat. I'm just, from my perspective, I've got a few thoughts. If you want to hear them. And then usually it's something like, well, tell me. Okay, if you really want to know. Do you see, we're taking the pressure off of it. Too often as parents, we're trying to cram it down their throats. That doesn't seem to work very well. So a couple of other tips too. You've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Yeah, do the math. Probably there's a ratio there we should pay attention to. I think it's pretty helpful to think about listening maybe twice as much as we're talking. First of all, their perspective is better than we think it is. It's just from a limited viewpoint, okay? So listening more helps you to connect with where they're really coming from. I would also encourage, depending on the age and development of your child, use the kinds of words and analogies and discussion topics that are appropriate for their age and development. We don't want to talk over their head, but we don't want to condescend either. Okay, remember that they are people and they have a legitimate perspective. We've done some other videos about this. If you go to the Positive Parenting playlist on this channel, you're going to find all kinds of videos with resources about this. Here's what I'm thinking. We turn our words from garbage into gold so that we say what we mean and we mean what we say. This is about personal integrity for us as parents. Do not get into the trap of threatening your kids. That doesn't help them to listen to you, and usually you don't even intend to do what you just said you were going to do. I still remember a neighbor we had. This is when the kids were little, and Vicki and I were living in a duplex with our little kids, and there was a couple next door. And I heard this couple preparing to leave on some kind of a trip. They were going in their car, I think, to the city or something. And their little 4-year-old was dragging his feet. He's not hurrying along. And Mom's getting a little frustrated. And she said, Jim, if you don't get your shoes on and get in that car right now, we're leaving without you. All right, what do you think about that? Is Mom going to leave without little Jimmy? No. Does he know that? Yeah. So who's in the advantage position right now? Well, Jimmy is. He can keep dawdling around. And for kids, bad breath is better than no breath at all. They do it for attention a lot of times. And it works really well. What I'm saying from a parental perspective is say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't say it if you don't fully intend to follow through. And that, by the way, would not be appropriate, leaving a 4-year-old as you drive off to the city. Okay? unless you've made provisions for him to receive appropriate care while you're gone. And that's a strategic step that you could take that would turn your words from garbage into gold. What if you were to say, for example, Jimmy, if you want to come with us, you need to be in the car with your shoes on by the time we pull out of here. Okay, now you didn't tell him the part about, and we've made arrangements with Paul and Vicky next door to watch you while we're gone. But what if you had come to us beforehand and said, hey, we're having a little problem with him listening and our words are kind of garbage instead of gold. Would you please just watch after him while we run to the city? Because I think he's going to dawdle and miss his ride. And we'd be like, oh yeah, we're down. We'll help you with this, right? Then what happens the next time you're talking to little Jimmy and saying, hey, if you want to go with us, and he's on it, right? He's taking care of getting his shoes on and getting into the car. That's what I mean by turning your words from garbage into gold. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Hopefully that's going to get you a little bit of traction in helping your kids to listen when you talk. Kids are people too, and we can turn our words from garbage into gold. Happy parenting!